Urijah Faber favors Conor McGregor over Michael Chandler. Urijah thinks Conor's power and precision will just be too much. Speaking to ESPN, Faber said traditionally in the past, old school MMA, I would have said the high-level wrestler's always going to win. But Conor, I feel, has closed those gaps a lot. I think Chandler takes a lot of big risks and likes to fight wild and aggressive. And I've seen many times where Conor's power is just too much and his precision is too much. And I think it's going to be in a 5-round fight leaning towards McGregor. Chandler and I are pretty different guys, and they're going to have a much different relationship than Conor and I. I would just say the same advice I'd give to anybody. Be yourself and stand your ground and things will play out the way they do. I think they're going to be heated. They're actually fighting and they're going to have a lot of build-up. When I spoke to Conor about this situation, he said this season is different because he was coming off his first big payday and his first world championship on season 22. This time he's focused on making this his camp. So I think he's going to be a little more on edge, to be honest. Here's Dana White's latest edition of It Friday. This time Dana has Custard Toast.
What's up, everybody? It's Friday here at UFC headquarters, and today we will be trying the Custard Toast.
Just mix together an egg, maple syrup, and yogurt for the custard. Pour it over a slice of bread, add sliced strawberries, and air fry it at 350 for 8 minutes. All right, here we go. This can't be bad. It's got to be like a pastry, anyway. So good. Incredible. Winner. Easy to make and really good.
Robert Whittaker on the MM Arcade podcast discusses how training camp is going ahead of his fight against Dricus du Plessis. Rob versus Dricus goes down at UFC 290 on July 8th.
Camp's going well. Training's going well. Missing lots of food. I just want to eat so much food.
Can you say, Rob, how many calories a day are you on?
Oh, it's hard to say. Probably I want to say 2,500 maybe. In terms of a day of eating for me. So my perspective has changed with dieting, 180 degrees since I started, which was about, 16, 17. And I think diets are so specific to the individual. You need to find what works for you, what makes you tick, because the human body can adapt to just about anything. But the only thing that makes it work is consistency. So you got to find out what makes it work and then stay consistent with discipline. So my personal diet, the way I like doing it is I don't eat up until after the first session, which is usually about midday. So I do the first session under my belt with no food. I do have coffee with a little milk in there, but I'll have my first meal and then I'll coast on that meal to the second session, finish the second session, and then have dinner. And that's my eating. That's how I eat.
Damn.
I like having 2 heavier meals than 6 scraggly ones.
Henry Cejudo is now pushing for the UFC to just book him versus Sean O'Malley for an interim title. Henry posted this to his Instagram. He wrote, "Hey Dana, I'm ready to fight Sean O'Malley at UFC 292 if Aljo Sterling keeps playing games. If Aljo does decide to show up, I'm willing to weigh in as the backup in Boston. I'm as hungry as ever to get my gold back. Whatever it takes to put that strap around my waist."
If Aljamain Sterling is playing this game that he's not ready, he needs a little more time, let's make an interim fight between me and Sean O'Malley. It's a bigger fight. It's what the UFC wanted initially. It's the same reason why they brought me out to chase and beat Aljamain Sterling. And if they believe that Sean O'Malley and myself would be a bigger fight, then why not make it happen? I wanted Merab, and I'm still willing to wait for Merab. But if that fight with Sean O'Malley happens to open up, I'm 100% in Dana White. If the UFC does want to have me as a backup. Typically, I wouldn't be that type of guy that would do things like that, but right now, I don't have the gold around my waist, so count me in there too. If I don't get that fight with Sean O'Malley, I will wait for you, Merab. Don't worry. And then for your hands, stop sitting on your damn thumb. I will wait for you, Madru. Ya tibia, parvu.
Sean O'Malley discusses how it feels now that he's fighting for a UFC world title. Sean will be fighting Aljamain Sterling for the bantamweight belt at UFC 292 on August 19th. He also gives his thoughts on going into this fight as the underdog and actually being doubted by MMA fans, which is something that he says he's not used to.
Feels normal. Feels like it's so weird because it just feels like it's supposed to happen. It feels like, I don't even like that word, custody. It's kind of a weird word. Maybe it's not the word I'd use. It feels normal. It feels like this is what I've been saying since I got in the UFC. Like, this is gonna happen, and now it's here. But I also know how much preparation these next 13 weeks is gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of discipline. But I'd rather do that. I'd rather be in camp than not. When I'm out of camp, there's something missing. Having a date, I'm like, all right, we got a mission. Every day, there's something I can do to improve to get to that fight.
And it's cool. It's just a fight that you're expected to get smoked.
How's your drive gonna be when you are no longer being doubted? You know.
That was most of my career. I mean, going into a lot of my UFC fights, like, oh, Eddie Wineland, oh, Sugar's gonna smoke this.
No, when he said no longer being doubted.
I know, yeah. I wasn't really doubted in a lot, and like some of the fights after Jose Quinones, they're like, oh, you're just supposed to go out there and finish, and then I would do that. So I've been there. Being doubted is a little bit more. It's different now, so it's a little bit more fun. But at the end of the day, they're all the same.
So Dana White was not happy about MMA media outlets reporting on Khamzat Chimaev unfollowing both him and Darren Till. Dana posted this to his Instagram. It's a screenshot of an article reporting on Khamzat. Dana wrote, "This is the quote-unquote media. I could literally do this every day with almost every story that's written. Everything these people write is total and absolute bullshit." If you move to the next slide, Dana included a screenshot of who Khamzat is following on Instagram and confirms Khamzat is still following him and there's no issue. Khamzat left a comment saying, "My big brother forever." For the record, yesterday we reported on this, and Khamzat did in fact unfollow both Dana and Darren, however not on Instagram like Dana thought, it was on Twitter. This is a screenshot from yesterday of who Khamzat was following on Twitter. Khamzat unfollowed everybody and was only following Andrew Tate, Tam Khan, ESPN MMA, and the UFC. If you look at who Khamzat is following on Twitter today, he is now following Dana White again. Still no Darren Till though. Dana White also posted this to his Instagram story of him FaceTiming Khamzat. He wrote, "So fucking tired of the fake news. Don't believe any of this bullshit." And that's gonna wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's in reference to Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic possibly in jeopardy, and the UFC potentially targeting Jon versus Sergey Pavlovich. The first one's from Peter Griffin. It says, "To me, Jon versus Pavlovich is more entertaining than Jon versus Stipe. Stipe is pretty much retired." The second one's in reference to Israel Adesany's ex-girlfriend allegedly suing him. It's from Andy Fab. It says, "I'd say Izzy dodged a bullet. The ex find out how much money he has, and now she's being greedy. Simple as that. It makes me sick. I really hope it's a quick trial, or it gets thrown out like one of the guys suggested. The man worked extremely hard for his money. Just move on." And the final one says, "Stipe hasn't fought in over 2 years. He has only fought 6 times in the last 7 years. If Stipe actually beat Jones, then what? He holds up the division for another year or more? Let Pavlovich have the shot. He might actually compete inside the octagon once in a while. I know that's why I'm a fan, watching the fighters fight." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.